The head of FIFA seems to have finally understood who's really in charge in the United States. Just look at what he said in the last press conference. Let's try.
Let's discuss, let's talk, let's see what happens. Maybe sometimes it's good to just relax and rest. We work on everything, we try to solve everything, and sometimes starting to scream and throw a fit right away has the opposite effect of finding a solution. Believe me when I say this, or don't believe it if you don't want to, but we always try to find solutions. Always, but we need to respect the fact that we are not the kings of the world who can rule over governments and police forces. And I don't know what we are, a sports organization, and we try to do the best we can with the resources we have. And with that, I conclude.
This happened after Donald Trump sent the message that changes the tone of the World Cup in the United States. The tournament may be global, it may move billions, it may bring delegations from various nations, but the gateway is still American. Gianni Infantino tried to calm the crisis, asked everyone to relax, and said that the organization doesn't control governments or police forces. But his statement came at a time when a referee was barred, delegations were under screening, and the Iranian team was moved to Mexico. The high ticket prices and tension in the Middle East confronted FIFA with a simple fact. Security in the United States is controlled by the Trump administration, not by football bureaucracy. They tried to sell the image of a World Cup ruined by Trump. But something else came up, with the government saying that no celebration overrides borders, security risks, and national sovereignty. Meanwhile, in Peru, Keiko Fujimori made gains in a neck-and-neck race and showed that the right continues to gain ground in Latin America. In the Caribbean, Cuba received a harsh warning. In Guantanamo, in Nicaragua, Marco Rubio stepped up pressure on Daniel Ortega's dictatorship. In the Middle East, Iran and the United States returned to the center of global security. What happened? Why did FIFA back down? I'll tell you all about it in a moment. If you like this kind of straightforward content with no beating around the bush, consider subscribing, because here we have videos like this every day. Gianni Infantino was pressured in an interview before the opening of the World Cup and responded in a way that irritated his own group, who were expecting a reaction against Trump. He said that FIFA tries to solve problems, but it's not the owner of the world, it doesn't govern borders, and it can't control the security system of a host nation. For years, the organization presented itself as a global power, negotiating with governments, imposing demands, mobilizing sponsors, and talking about total inclusion. Now, faced with American screening, it had to admit that soccer does not override the immigration law of the United States. The head of FIFA didn't lose control by shouting. He lost it when he had to admit that his tournament depends on the sovereignty of the host country. The case that triggered the public outcry was that of the Somali referee Omar Abdulkadir Artan. He arrived in Miami with a valid visa but was denied entry. The Americans cited security concerns and suspicious connections, while FIFA confirmed that he would not participate in the World Cup. A visa is not an automatic guarantee of entry. A sports position does not become a free pass, and international prestige does not override border screening. He could be an award-winning referee, an official, a journalist, a coach, or an advisor. If the American authorities believe there is a risk, entry can be denied. Andrew Giuliani, who was on the White House task force for the World Cup, defended the screening and stated that there were good reasons for some of the denials. He made it clear that the Iranian team would have its players cleared, but not everyone connected to the delegation would be cleared. The Iranian team became the symbol of this closely monitored World Cup. The group scrapped their original US-based plan and started training in Tijuana, Mexico. Under tight security, the Department of Homeland Security announced that the players will be allowed to enter the United States on the eve of each match. Iran debuts in Los Angeles against New Zealand, then faces Belgium, and finishes the group stage against Egypt. The logistics became tougher because geopolitics entered the field before the ball even started rolling. FIFA wanted a celebration. Trump looked at risk, borders, and intelligence. When a team connected to a regime in conflict with the host nation plays inside the United States, security can't be treated as just a ceremonial detail. The World Cup can unite fans, but it can't blind the state. Peru took the same regional approach. Keiko Fujimori came out ahead in one of the closest contests in recent Peruvian history with about 50.2% against 49.998% against Roberto Santos. With the count well underway, the difference was just a few hundred votes out of millions. And the votes from abroad helped push the right-wing candidate into the lead. It's a tight vote with contested ballots and a review, but the political message is strong. Latin America is tired of red promises, instability, and salvation speeches that end in crisis. Santos tried to win by riding the rural wave and the memory of Castilismo, while Keiko bet on security, order, and the economy. The close result showed a divided Peru, but it also showed the left in panic when they realized that the overseas vote could decide the contest. Electoral authorities and international observers did not point out any serious problems, even with challenges at specific polling stations. Another harsh warning was issued. Pete Hegseth at the Guantanamo Naval Base warned Havana not to mess with weaponry capable of threatening American territory or the base itself. The visit came after rare movements involving intelligence and military command officials. The statement was tough. If the regime buys or positions weapons that pose a threat to the United States, it will enter into a confrontation it cannot withstand. Nicaragua came under the same pressure. Marco Rubio announced new visa restrictions against officials and allies of the regime. Murillo Ortega, after the death of the indigenous leader and political prisoner Brooklyn Rivera. The State Department accused the Nicaraguan dictatorship of responsibility for the case and tightened the crackdown on those who support the repression. For the Latin American left, the news is terrible because it once again exposes the pattern of friendly dictatorships. They arrest opponents, control institutions, stifle dissent, and then try to sell the world the image of popular sovereignty. FIFA pressured in the United States, Iran watched at the World Cup, Cuba warned at Guantanamo, Nicaragua sanctioned, and Peru in a tight turnaround all show a new environment. Trump is not accepting that organizations, regimes, or international activists dictate the rules in the area of American security. The World Cup is the most visible stage, but the conflict goes beyond soccer. I'm Milson Alves, an international affairs specialist, and my purpose is to keep you well informed with the truth every day. The news links are in the video description. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and at the end, check out the comments. That way, you can be even more engaged with the community. Nilson Alves.